Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the McShin Foundation's award-winning recovery podcast, Get in the Herd. I'm your host today, Nathan Mitchell. Um, we had a plan, and I think this is awesome that we've got you in the studio here today, Walter, because
Thank
I had a plan. I had an idea of what today's show is going to be about. And don't you know how it just all got turned around upside down, and here we are with the colleague of mine, and one of my newest colleagues, who's up here on the third floor with me, Walter Randall.
you. Woo,
Woo woo, exactly. And we're never going to get anything done on the third floor. I love it.
Nope,
So
never.
never, no.
Speaking of plans, Nathan, you know what Mike Tyson's saying about having a plan is, right?
Uh-oh.
Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Well, so hey, there's Johnny Fab. Woot woot to Johnny. What I love about this though is that my plan, because and I know what happens when I make plans,
Yeah,
right?
God
It's,
laugh at him.
yeah, I mean, I like to think that he's not that that mean, but what I realize is that we have this tool, right? This recovery podcast that we use and try to bring a message of hope in. So our plan today, and I'll say was to have some individuals who had been in some of our jail programs coming and talking about that. So what's beautiful about you being here is you are in a position where you're going to actually be going into the new jail. So Walter, welcome to the show again, and
Thank you.
talk about what's going on with you and what brings you to the McShin Foundation and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. And again, that plan and is amazing because, Nathan, when we think about our plan, when we really incorporate God, and I got to say that, it's like his plan is greater than our plan. So you could have planned for something to happen today, but checking with him, I'm just believing this podcast talking about, what's in store, how the Machine Foundation, a door has been opened, that we're able to come into the Richmond's Justice Center. There's a curriculum that's already in place, to empower those young men down at the Richmond Justice Center, and just to be a part of that, man. That's not only is that major for me, as based on my life experience as a whole, and we'll get into that. But not only that's major for me, but for God to use me, through the Machine Foundation to show up at the Richmond Justice Center to the program part to bring this curriculum, that has been operating down Pamunkey, RSW. It's like Machine has created a program, for, and again, at the Richmond Justice Center, y'all be ready, because there is a curriculum that we're going to impart in you guys' life that's going to show you not only a way out, of the lifestyle of addiction, but how to stay out. Because there are many pathways of recovery, and grateful, for, John Shinholzer, the founder of the Machine Foundation, who had brought, this foundation to exist. And you talk about Medicaid assisted treatment, you talking about, Sabaskin, you talking about, Vivitrol, a person who believes there is more than just, the basic of the 12-step foundation, because when I got clean in 1992, they told me, total abstinence, but now we have different pathways to get you to total abstinence. So I'm grateful for the Machine Foundation able, to go into the Richmond Justice Center. John, he's just one of those guys, who have the courage to step out into the deep, and create things that other people want to take a risk and do. But recovery is all about risk taking anyway. So I'm excited about the program that we're going to be bringing into the Richmond Justice Center. And that should be in operation within the next 2 weeks. I'm here now. Grateful that my office right beside yours. We've been kicking it for the last couple of weeks, man. So just to bring me in this space right here. Now, of course, we're going to unpack dialogue some more about how that look at the Justice Centers. But just to be in a position to come in, Nathan, that's great, man. That's great. That's great for me and the people who I'm gonna be encountering with. That's great, man.
Well, you said, was that 1992?
Yeah.
So wait, hold on a second. Hold on now. Now I knew that you had some time now, and so you've been doing you've been doing more right than wrong
Yeah.
to yourself for a
Yeah.
very long time now, and still you're coming back to do this work. Why
Yeah.
do you do that?
Well, this what I have learned, I have come to believe, and this is for anybody, right? Who have relapsed. Because I went through a treatment program in 1992, and I was able to stay clean. Listen to this. I was able to stay clean for 2.5 years, and I relapsed. And relapse is part of my story. But this September the 2nd, I will have 26 years clean. So I have to go back to 1992 and not just say 1995, because there are other people, who have tried to get clean and may not have been able to stay clean, because my first initiation to trying to get clean was through a treatment program. It wasn't through a 12-step program, and again, so many programs has been developed. That's what I like about the Mission Foundation and the work that I'm part of, something that's working, how it operates here. Because even here, we talk about harm reduction, we talk about risk reduction, we talk about many pathways of recovery, whether it's medicated assisted treatment. Mission program here, it offers so many pathways. If I would have just got stuck on 1992 when I tried it the first time and I didn't stay clean, I would look at relapse as a failure. No, my relapse is part of my story. My spirit and my compassion connects with other people who have relapsed. And that's what makes the work so great here at the Mission. We offer all manifestations of recovery. But remember, we are gearing everybody towards total abstinence here at Mission. So that's why I had to go back and say 1992. Yeah, it probably was a long time ago, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the many changes, that have taken places in my recovery. And that's why I keep coming back. I want y'all to hear this. Here we go. Then I'm gonna give you back the mic. But here we go. You ready?
Hey, come on.
Check it out. Check it out. This is what I want you to hear this. I keep coming back because I am drug free. I'm just not drug proof.
Ooh, I've never heard that. I like that.
Yeah. I'm not, because at any time, the free will that I have gotten and working the step process, because I belong to a 12-step program and I believe in the step process. I don't impose my beliefs on everybody, but the free will I got in the third step, I could choose, because that's when you give you a choice. Your will is just your choice. I could choose to pick up at any time. But today, my desire not to use is a lot stronger than my desire to use. So I am forever reminded I am drug free, but I'm not drug proof.
I'm drug free, but I'm not drug proof.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's really great, and so that you're here, and you've been on the show before. You were on, I think, with your sponsee.
Yeah.
we got to get you guys, the two of you, on together. That was a good show. But now you're taking over this role, and you're also, you've got the Breaking the Bondage of Addiction spiritual service on Sundays. And so what we're going to do, we talked about this several weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, about doing I think it was third, whatever the 17th is, maybe it's the second or third Tuesday, and making that, a Breaking the Bondage episode where we talk a little bit more dive deeper into the spirituality. And I'm looking forward to that. I really, really. What gets you fired up? Because I know you're a minister. I know you're a preacher. I mean, you can't. Oh yeah. So you can't even say it without. And now, and anybody who's heard me tell my story knows that I've been ordained as a minister, but through a website, and so that I could perform a ceremony, and nevertheless. But it's funny because even with this lack of, I want to say seriousness to it, but I mean, there is a certain amount of seriousness to it, because I did do it for a reason, and I did perform not only one but two wedding ceremonies.
Right.
I got to marry my sister and marry my brother.
That's a blessing.
Yeah. And by doing that, though, by putting that mantle on, and being present and being of service and putting together, in my case, being able to help someone I really, really love, my sister, marry my brother-in-law, who I absolutely adore. I mean, the two of them just celebrated 8 years yesterday.
Right.
I know, right? Shout out to my sister Rob and my brother-in-law Adam. and and put my brother and my sister-in-law together, there's a transformation that even as silly as it seemed at the moment, that I still carry that with me, because that's really important to me and helped me be of service. So what brings you, and before we go into that question, I want to look right here real quick, because we got a couple comments. It says, I believe it should say hello, Walter, from Johnson Sadie up there, but I also kind of like hell, Walter. But Johnson says, is there a program for females at the Justice Center? And Johnson says, hello, Walter.
Yeah.
So that's a good question. Are we doing male and female programs there?
Yes. And so there's 3 pieces that we could discuss. And I'm not trying to take lead.
No, please take it.
No. I heard you identify with how does it look at the Justice Center? Right. I heard about that. I also heard about the relationship with my sponsee, right? And I tell you, and the work here, and he's my sponsee. That's another whole topic of discussion. And also,
it's only an hour-long show, though. So.
He's your supervisor too.
I know, right?
Yeah. And third one was, this relationship, that I have with the God of my understanding. That energize me, that prepares me throughout the week, that we have a place here at the Mission that Breaking the Bondage of Addiction Ministry is being operated, and the energy is being released in that space. This is the vessel. This is a house. Again, I thank John, from giving Breaking the Bondage of Addiction Ministry an opportunity to come here, and the Mission Foundation sponsor it, and now we're working here, so I'm telling you, man, it's definitely a dream come true, So yeah, I want to go all the way back to start with the jail first, and then I'm gonna get to the other 2 pieces. And that goes to you too, Sadie. So this is how I look down at the Justice Center, the Mission Foundation. They got a proposer, Jesse, the chief, the operation with chief
operating officer,
officer here, he wrote up a proposal, MOU, to go down to the Justice Center, and I mean, like, again, the curriculum that he put in place, what they have at the Justice Center, the sheriff took a look at it, they want it in. And not only I have a relationship with the sheriff, but yes, Jesse, he's my sponsee, and both of them believe, in me. Sometimes when I don't see what other people see, they believe in me that, Walter, you could bring this program, So I mean, I already had a job, down in Hopewell, run another program, but to come in here and right in the city of Richmond, where we really need to empower men to change. Bring the program from the Mission Foundation to the Justice Center. I'm excited to get down there and bring that curriculum. And so what I do also, I talk to other, participant or alumni here at the Mission Foundation, and even yourself, co-workers, get you guys application in, get you cleared, because I'm going to bring you guys in to share your story. That's one thing I like about peer support. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. I am a licensed clinician. I have my state board license as substance abuse counselor. I even have a master's degree in divinity. But what really helps me to help the other person is when I'm speaking from my authentic space. In the 12-step program, we say we share our experience, strength, and hope. Right. Most clinician, and I am one, so you could talk about me, I could talk about myself. Most clinician, we learn a lot in a book. So we try to give our book experience. But I have 25 years of living clean experience as well. And I also have 2.5 years of after a relapse. So I can speak to the multitude. But I believe that's what's going to happen, at the Justice Center, when the Mission Foundation, we get in there. Now, we ought to receive, the opportunity to go in there. I've been going in, periodically throughout the week, setting up, meeting with staff, trying to make sure we all on one team, that we all have the same vision, that's to serve the people or the residents, because without serving the resident, we don't have a job. So our main vision as a whole community is to be able to serve God's people. Our society, once they get locked up, society look at them as the least of the brethren.
Yeah.
But we know they're just like us.
Yeah.
You know, we just haven't got caught in a while.
Yeah.
ain't like we dotting our I's and crossing our T's today. You know, so just to have an opportunity, you know, to identify, you know, at the Richmond Justice Center. And yes, we are clearing women's as well. Said, I know who you are. So if you were to reach out to me here at the Machine Foundation, 2300 Dunbar Avenue, row. Come here. I get you clear, and you could go in and you could share your story.
Ooh.
You could share your story because I know how God has used you over the year, you know, through your substance use disorder as well.
Yeah. Oh, as I'm hitting the microphone, you know, our jail programs, of course, are very personal to me because I came through a jail program myself, a
Wow.
McShin jail program. And our largest audience for this podcast are individuals who are currently experiencing incarceration.
Yes,
So I love that we
yes,
get to do this, and we were
yes.
able to do this throughout the pandemic, and now we get to
Yes.
continue to do this through the, you
Yes.
know, as we put programs back in. But you get to go in, and
Yes.
I love that you don't know this,
Yes.
and I when we had the primary election, June 8th or whatever that was,
Mhm.
few weeks ago, I was campaigning for Colette McKeechin. I live in Richmond City,
Okay.
so I was campaigning for the Commonwealth's attorney for her reelection. Well, for her primary bid, but that will guarantee her reelection. And so I was at a polling place, at my polling place. Actually, I don't know if it was I was at a polling place,
Mhm.
and you know, I was there handing out flyers and whatnot. And there was somebody there also for the sheriff of Richmond City, whose name is escaping me, Antoinette Irving,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
who was you know, campaigning for her out there. And I said, you know, I'm here for Colette McKeechin. I was talking to this woman who was also campaigning, and I said, you know, I'm with the McShin Foundation. She says,
Mhm.
oh, Antoinette loves you all. She's so excited to get you guys back in the jail. And I'm like, are you sure? Because like I haven't heard that in a while. And I'm like, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay. But you know, she kept going on and on and on about that. And
Yeah.
so what, you know, and I've met Antoinette a couple of times, but I know she doesn't know anything about me. Now Sheriff Gregory here knows us, but knows me. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know.
Good.
It is a good thing. Yeah, legal troubles here, but it's great to get that feedback from the community
Yes.
and to get that immediate feedback, because
Yes.
I know how important
Yes.
the work is that we're doing there, and I know you know how important it is. But
Yes.
to hear that from community members who aren't
Yes.
experiencing incarceration, who may not
Yes.
have family members, but
Yes.
also recognize the work that we're doing,
Yes.
because I know that it's not, you know, we're not, you know, we're not making a mint on this. You know, we're
That's
we're not making money hand over fist on doing this.
That's
And so that's what I love about this place, and John Schinholzer's mission, the McShin mission,
Yes.
you know, and John's personal mission to get into every state, you know, one correctional facility in every state, and he's, I think, at 42 states right now,
Yeah.
which is amazing to me, right?
Yes.
Because that's the work, you know, that's where we can really get God in,
Yes.
you know, and
Yes.
I don't use that liberally. That's not a word that's so easily off my tongue.
Yeah.
It's coming more and more. And
Yes.
we talked earlier
Yes.
about God.
Yes.
God is
Yes.
love, and I
Yes.
like that connection for me. So
Yeah.
as we start to go back into the jails
Yes.
and bring a message of hope, right?
Yes.
And we're not a religious organization.
That's right.
You know,
That's
we're a
right.
spiritual organization,
That's right.
like a 12-step
That's right.
meeting. But as we go back in and to bring that hope, and as we continue to do the hope, you know, through this, you know, medium, what is your plan, or what is the plan
Mhm.
for getting that message in, and what is the curriculum? What are we doing here? What's going to happen?
Right. So
Yeah.
so let me go back, because the work had begun long before the work was established. And let me say that, because when Sheriff Irvin, when she was running the campaign, and she reached out, you know, her and the chief of chaplain, you know, Bishop Evan William, he's my pastor. She had reached out for support. And me working over here part-time with the machine, you know, on Saturdays, you know, I went to Jesse, you know, I asked him, do you have any participants who want to volunteer, you know, to help Sheriff Irvin campaign? And what she did, she gave us T-shirts. She gave us the mask with her logo on it. And I tell you, we went out and we put the, you know, Latina tracks. I call them tracks. I'm not for sure what they call them, but we supported the work, long before the MOU was submitted for us to bring, the work that the Mission Foundation do, not just gonna be doing in the Richmond jail, but also does in Pamunkey, Henrico, the many places the Mission Foundation show up. So the work that was done before we began to do the work is how we support the vision. And I also hear you even talking about, down being at the pole, the work you do for substance use disorder. People not feel a lot of times when they look at us as being the least of the brethren, who is the one behind the scene doing the work that you do? Everybody want to be up front when they see the finished products, but who's the one behind the scene doing what you do? Even right now, who's the cameraman behind the scene making sure that the work that we are establishing in words go out? That's the cameraman behind the scene. I have a relationship with him. So everybody have a part of the work that's going out, but who are the finished product? And so that's why I like to look at the people at the Justice Center, the residents at the Justice Center, the inmates, that's the name they used to call them. I like to use the term residents because that's where they reside at. They are our finished product. And to be able to bring this curriculum, they here at the Mission Foundation created, and to watch how it operates, starting August the 24th, I think that's that Monday, when we go in full time and it begins to operate, and just like what we do here, we hold them accountable. We have a morning check-in. That's the first thing we're going to be doing. They're going to be group discussion, group topic, whether it's spirituality, whether it's the principles of a 12-step program, whether it's relapse and recovery, whether it's prevention relapse. There are different topics. There are different classes that we're going to be involved in. I specialize in psychoeducational training, psychoeducational teaching, it's a training curriculum. We're going to be implementing that down there in the Justice Center. We got life skills, life coaching, resume building. There's going to be so much that the Mission Foundation is going to be implementing, because we want to prepare those guys. I like to use the word discharge. Some people say return as citizens, back to the community. But then we got to ask ourselves, have they ever left the community when we say returning citizens? So it's a lot that we're going to be implementing through the Mission Foundation, through the curriculum that we're going to be taking down to the Justice Center. I'm just excited just to be a part of it, and especially a part of something that's working. Come on.
I love it. I love it. So tell me, how does it work in the jail? Do they have a special separate pod? Is it just anybody can join? I realize it's still getting off the ground. You got, to implement, but how will this go moving forward? How much, self accountability within the pod will there be? We had, for instance, when I was in our little block and I was in a jail with 93 people. It was tiny little Fauquier County jail. And, we had a max that could fit 10 in our little pod. I think we always had 8 though. That 5th Street was always busted, but right. Yeah. The toilet didn't work or something. I don't know, something stupid, but which meant that we only ever could have 8 people at a time in the pod, which, whatever, but we had some say in who could come in. We voted, the lieutenant would come in and she would ask, hey, so-and-so from any problems or whatever. And, nope. All right, well, great. Anybody, let them come in. And so they had a women's pod too, or block too. But what happens in Richmond?
Yeah.
How does that?
Yeah. So this how it looks. And of course, everything is subject to change. When we find a greater need, when we find ourselves trying to reach that one, but then you also have the one, who have a desire, and maybe their desire is not as strong as the next person desire. So we have a person who's already down, part of the administrative team at the Richmond Justice Center, who's pretty much like our intake personnel.
Okay.
So they have a sheet that they go by. Have you ever had in substance use disorder? Have you ever been, there's certain things that she asks. Do you have a mental health diagnosis? Is your cognitive skill up to depart? Can you retain information? Can you comprehend information? It's certain things that she put in place that she sees that this is a person who's fit for the program that we have to offer. So there is like a little screening process that's in place. But once you get into the program, if you have any desire, to change your life, because one thing we do know is that staying clean must come first. So we want to help you to remain absent of the substance, but at the same time, we're talking the behavior, right? That a person gets so comfortable with, and the behavior is what keeps them connected to the lifestyle. So yeah, we want you to stay clean, but we also want you to change your lifestyle, because that clean person, right, they'll go out, and if they don't have some type of program, some type of coping skills, something implemented in their recovery, they'll use again. Because if the drugs don't kill you, what? The lifestyle will.
Mm-hmm.
So we want her to do what she do, but of course, being a paid profession, also having experience. Once that person get into the program, based on how the program is set up, it's a 26-week course. So based on how the program gets set up, as long as they matriculate through the program, we know that this person is fit, because you have to change in the program, and change ain't change until you change. Some people could talk a good game, but if nothing changed, nothing changed. So yeah, so anybody designed for the program who have a desire to be in it, but can you stay? Can you graduate from the program as a sense of achievement? Because there's no graduation from recovery. It's a lifelong process, but there are a sense of achievement. We go from middle school, we go from elementary to middle school to high school to college, but we're always in a continuing stage, a learning stage.
It's funny you talk about achievement, right, and graduation, and there was a report that just came out that I was part of the last couple of years, and looking at desired outcomes for individuals in recovery. And my biggest critique of this report was that they weren't really looking at where, obviously recovery is defined by the individual, or at least a lot of good, smart people say that. And we were only looking at defining people in recovery, not defining lengths of recovery. And the reason I think that there's a critique there is because when you're asking outcomes for people, well, I'll use myself, the outcomes I was desiring, in my first couple of weeks in recovery aren't the same that I have now, and I compared to the almost 26 you got there, my couple of days just seems like a few 41 minutes and 48 seconds over here.
I love it.
I love it. We're gonna kick that in.
It got in.
We're gonna figure out how to work that in a lot. But
yeah.
But but graduating for me is like I start to shed away the ideas of, I have to have the best shoes, or I have to have all the expensive. I like Legos. I mean, I still do. I'm a kid at heart. Like these big expensive sets, or and you can look at my my living space, and you can see that I clearly sometimes struggle with spending money on things I can't afford. But what I realize my outcomes these days is that, we talked about this yesterday with the family group, is that, I walked in this place here at McShin, right out of a jail program where when I was in jail, I was hanging up on my mom, acting a fool. She was hanging up on me because I was acting a fool. and we'd had a real, she came to visit me. I went to jail the last time in February, and she came to visit me, and I hadn't seen her over Christmas. So she took the money, she took my present back, and she took the money, and she came and she brought on my books. That was what she did. I mean, it was very sweet, right? And I always talk about how I use that money for coffee and sweets, but I didn't buy socks, so and I tell that story all the time. But the thing is like now in recovery, like I was on the phone with my mom for about a half an hour, not yesterday, the day before, and we were planning our trip to New York in October because for her birthday. And I got her tickets. I got us tickets to see Hamilton on Broadway.
Oh wow!
And I'm not saying that to say money and all that. Like this is like nowadays I have this relationship. We can go do things we want.
Right.
And we're humans, and we allow each other to be human. Tomorrow night, I'm going over to my sister. Justin's coming with me. We're going to my sister's house to have dinner. She's cooking, and we're gonna play Mario Party all night. The 15-year-old and the 5-year-old and the 2-year-old all screaming and laughing and playing. And I'm like, this is what I'm really looking forward to.
That's it.
And and that's like those are my that's my
That's it.
graduation now.
That's it.
You know,
That's
it's yeah. I mean, I still get tripped up, and I still spend money where I don't have it, or I don't eat as well. That's one of my things to work on next. But it's like as I graduate, I start shedding away my wants,
Mhm.
you know, and it's like
Mhm.
you know, I start
Mhm.
getting freedom from that. So I love that. I love recovery. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll sit and talk it all the time.
Yeah. I love it too. And even this is where I'm at. And my goal. Then I'm gonna get to the Jesse and Walter. Yeah, I'm gonna get there. But let me just click it back on there because I told you it's 3 places. We are to visit one that's a jail. Then we're gonna visit me and Jesse, and then we're gonna visit Breaking the Bondage of Addiction Ministry. We're not gonna spend too much time because we're gonna take care of a lot of this next week. But listen, check it out, right? So here it is, right? My graduation for me, even after 25 years of being clean, and this September the 2nd to be my 26 years,
Woo.
right? My graduation for me is to do better today than I did yesterday.
Ooh.
You know, I mean, better against myself. I want to be a better person today. You know, I want to be open, the spirit of open-mindedness. I want to be open to people way of doing things. I want to learn, you know, because I've been caught up in a continuing, not a dichotomy, you know, my own thinking, like this is my world. You know, you talking about self-centeredness, like everything belongs to me, everything rotates around me. You know, but if I could lose myself, you know, this is Bible scripture, and I just want to say it. I love saying it, and I strongly believe in this. It says Bible scripture say that if any man should come after me, let him first deny himself, pick up his cross and follow me. And what that says to me is that daily I should deny myself and support somebody else's vision. You know, I should think more of the newcomer and less of myself. You know, how can I be more help? Because I got to realize that somebody was there to help me because I couldn't stay stopped using. You know, I struggled in the beginning, you know, even after being clean, not that I felt like I arrived, but, you know, I stopped. It's like I thought I graduated after 2.5 years, and like, no, it's a continuing thing. So how does I continue my recovery today? I do better today than I did yesterday. You know, I'm my worst critic. I love being critiqued. I was doing a group yesterday here at the machine, and I held 13 people accountable. I say, you guys, I struggle sometimes pronouncing words. So if I pronounce a word, I want y'all to talk to me and help me to pronounce it, because I believe that one day I'm gonna be in front of a community of people, and I'd rather you guys help me than I expose the struggle that I have in front of a community of people and they laugh at me. So I'm holding you guys accountable, and you guys is gonna make me a better person than I am when I leave your presence. Now these are people with what, like 3 days free of drugs and alcohol, and you know, one of them may have what, 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But at the same time, I'm trying to let them know there's no big eyes and no little U's. I got to stay humble because myself, I'm coming against myself. I'm trying to deny my ego because sometimes my ego speaks to me, and when I get in front of other people, I don't realize how I'm causing them to feel less than because they're not living up to my expectations. No, you're right where you're supposed to be. I love that saying, welcome to wherever you are. You know, I'm just grateful you're not where you used to be. You know, you're
Mhm.
not using drugs today. And if you need Vivitrol today to help you to remain absent today, I'm glad you're here today. We'll get you off the Vivitrol if you just keep coming back, because you was not here. You may not be on Vivitrol. You might be still shooting dope.
Mm.
Woo!
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, if I could be better to me today than I was yesterday, then that's it. I like that. So now, can I jump to Jesse real quick?
Oh, hey,
We
you
good?
take it. Take it.
Man, you guys just I apologize. Let me slow down because I'm getting excited, man. But you know, to be in the place that I work for a person who I sponsor, you know, there are different relationships, there's different roles, different hats, you know, and you have to be mature enough to respect a person. You know, even, you know, sometimes I see shortcomings. You know what I mean?
You look at me. Why do you look at me when you say short and then shortcomings? Wait, hold on a second. Are you saying I'm short? Or are you saying I'm full of shortcomings? Oh no,
no.
my ego.
No,
My
I'm
ego.
saying I'm saying shortcomings because here it is, being that I'm your colleague, right? That we working together, right? Under the same supervisor, right? There has been conversations that has been happening before I decided to come on the team. And I'm glad you guys have it. And in these conversations that when I was having at those times, I was just a sponsor. So I could see the behavior. But now that he's my supervisor, I got to be real careful because I don't want to be insubordinate. Yeah. Yeah, because he's my supervisor. So when I see a shortcoming, right?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about his character defects because I believe when he do stuff, it's all in love and concern. Right. But as a shortcoming, it's the result of your character defect. So when I see his shortcoming, I'm like, wow, I wish you go back and look at that control issue he got.
I want to still have a job tomorrow. I think Justin does too.
Bleep. Can you let that piece go? Can you take it off the air?
That's okay. You know what? I don't think Jesse realizes we have a show anymore. So
okay, great. That's good. But I'm talking about, man, you talk about the gratitude, how grateful.
Fired.
Oh,
I just turn the knobs and push the buttons so that
but I'm talking about the gratitude. Look, I'm talking about here it is. You're right. I'm talking about being able to work with someone in their recovery, right? That have been able to identify with principles that got him. Because see, I've been working with Jesse long before he got clean, and for him to be the place where he's at. And not only the role that God, I got to put God in it, has and trust him to supervise, even to supervise his sponsor. Man, that's great work that Jesse do. And then to come into this workspace because the vision is, we got to go all the way back to why am I even here. The vision is to get down to the Richmond Justice Center and to implement this program that's operating here at the Mission Foundation inside the jail. A program that I know a lot of people, who come through jail program been able to stay clean. So that's the vision. So for Jesse to see that in me, me being his sponsor, he know he know my character, he know my loyalty, my faithfulness, my commitment. He know what I brings. And so he know I'm going to do the best I can to implement the program in the Justice Center. So like I say, the multi hats that me and him wear and respecting the roles, when I do see some things that I'm like, oh, wow, that's like, yes, supervisor. I want to keep my job. Yeah, because again, here it is. You ready? Now let's talk about the character defects. I have control issues as well.
Whoa.
Whoa. And we are more alike than different. And it's okay for me to talk about my control issues to my sponsor, but I can't talk about nobody else stuff. You know what I mean? But I'm grateful for Jesse, giving me an opportunity. And here it is, the third part. I don't know how much time we got. But here's the third part. This third part, right? Now the third part is that when John Shinholzer, I tell you, man, and Jesse and Honesty, they made a decision in the midst of a pandemic. Now this is in the midst of a pandemic, right? To bring the spiritual service here to the Mission Foundation. Why? Because I'm grateful for the space that Hatchard allowed the Mission to even operate under. But during that season, Hatchard wasn't open, in order for the new people, not necessarily the one out in the houses, in the community here at the Mission, because they operate more than just with the intense personnel, but to have something, someplace or someone to bring a message to them, so when they look deep, and they called on me, I like, wow, this is a great opportunity to break in the bondage of addiction ministry. And I'm really going to talk about that on next Tuesday, what that ministry entail. But that's how that ministry got here. We are here, excited for the energy, giving the participants the opportunity, to involve in their own recovery, because it's not a church. It's a ministry. It's a 12-step ministry with a biblical-based perspective. So each week we go over one of the steps. Each week we go over a step. And in each step, there's a Bible scripture that relates to the step. And because again, I went back to school and I have a master's degree in theology, I'm able to take that Bible scripture and identify with the step so they can see God as they understand it and how it pertains to them. And that would make us non-denomination. It's not religious. Religious is people searching for God. Man way of searching for God. That's religious is. Spirituality is man walking with God. Your personal experience that you had with God is spiritual to you. And that's spirituality. And here at Breaking the Bondage Addiction Ministry, we are spiritual. We are not religious. We are non-denomination. Anyone may join us. And I love it. I love it when I see the new participant get excited about what's getting ready to take place in their life. Yeah, there you go, man. How you like that?
All right.
All right. How you like that, Jess? That's behind the scene, man. He making all this happen. Give it up for the behind the scene, man.
Woo, woo.
Woo, woo, woo.
Justin, when are we going to get a little camera on you? When are we going to do that?
Well,
Well.
cameras cost about $300 to $400.
Okay.
So,
Any donations out there? Can anybody donate to the machine for a camera on Justin?
Well,
I mean,
now,
Justin.
I like that. However, if we're talking about levels of need here, I would love some foam. And what I mean by that is so that we can seal off the room from the outside sound out there, because this gets it gets loud out there, and sometimes people walking by acting fools out there, myself included, because I'm not on the show every week and I forget sometimes. Are you looking up prices there?
no, I'm not. You'll see in a minute.
I know Justin's doing some magic over there. So the camera the screen that we're watching. I had a point though. I did want to come back. We talk about what McShin does, right? We talk about going into the jails, and we talk about filling that spirituality need.
Yes.
And I obviously I'm a fan of this place. It really helped me find my pathway of recovery, and it continues to help me stay clean and connect me to the community. What I love especially is that, you talk about the pandemic, you talk about the church service closing down.
Yes.
We continued to
Operate,
adapt and
yes.
to operate, to
Yes.
adapt, to accommodate, and to keep the doors open
That's
throughout the
right.
entire pandemic. And
Yes.
and I think when the books get written about recovery, when the books get written about COVID-19,
Yes.
we gotta it's a McShin thing too, but
Yes.
there's organizations all across the country, all across the world that continued to do the work, that
Yes.
recognized that the overdose crisis was going to go through the roof. You start giving a whole bunch of addicts $1,200 checks in the beginning of a pandemic,
Ooh.
everybody's sitting by themselves. The only people getting rich right there are the dealers.
Mm,
And
mm.
I mean, we all saw that.
Yes.
We all saw that. I mean,
Yes.
and I'm grateful that we were able to do this, that we were able to continue to put a message in jails this way.
Yes.
That we continue to do. I know there was some outreach at RSW that they still tried to do, that they worked inside the cell, because these are the stories I'm hearing now. Oh, he's messing. That's what he's doing. He's messing with the camera. He's trying to create one with the phone. I love it. See that down there? He's trying to put himself on. I like it. All right.
Here you go.
But I'll lose my train of thought. Squirrel. No, but so being able to continue to do that, and just the resourcefulness, because what I realized is that the resourcefulness I had in my using,
Mm.
I got what I wanted, or what I thought I wanted,
Mhm.
and now in my recovery, it's like when I take all of those defects and I find a way to use those
assets.
Oh.
This sounds a little weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, got a little feedback. He gonna take it all.
He's gonna
Justin, the
take it.
man.
I love it.
There you go. He took it all.
There
I
we
told
go.
you, man. Justin.
Look at that, Justin.
Look at that. That's the
So-
man behind the scene.
So here I am.
There you go. There you go.
all there with the shaved head. Being able to
Non-denominational.
non-denominational. Oh wait, I didn't get to say it yesterday. After hours. We had an after hours show last night with Moses. We did the family group, but we didn't have the headphones on, so it doesn't have the same punch to say after hours. Like anyway, I guess it's Alex was here, but what I love is that we could just sit here for almost an hour, kick it, talk about recovery, talk about how much fun we had. We could talk about all the using stuff. I mean, I can
Yes.
tell you stories of what I did and how
Mhm.
much I did and
Mhm.
and who I did it with. But
Mhm.
I realize I don't that I don't care about that anymore.
Mm-mm.
I'm not trying to bring that back because if I'm still doing that, like
Mhm.
I'm trying to, I'm glorifying that or I'm reminiscing about that,
Mhm.
and like
I will say that there's one aspect of that that I do care about, especially for the newcomer. And I'm still a newcomer myself.
Mhm.
But sometimes I've found that newcomers come in and they don't think that they think that their story is unique, and they think that their story is very, I don't want anybody to know the things that I've done.
Yeah.
I don't want, because that'll make me, like, people think I'm, I'll feel out of place if people, and it's like sometimes I do like sharing what I've done and who I did it with, and because it makes them feel more at home. It makes them feel more a part of,
Yeah.
that they can sit there and look at me and be like, dude, you did the same things I did. Holy crap. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And it's like, yeah, of course, we all did. You're among friends, you're among peers. Like, we've all been there. We understand, we get it, that's,
Yes.
but I definitely see your point of, it's not about that stuff anymore. It's about looking towards the future. It's about moving forward. It's about living in your recovery.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that mention because it's important when you're looking at a meeting schedule and trying to find or identify what type of meeting you're going to. And I say that to say because if I go to a topic discussion meeting, as a newcomer, and they don't even know this, that's why it's important even to get a sponsor. When you go to a topic discussion meeting, I'm looking for help on that specific topic. So if I'm in a topic discussion meeting and the topic is for the newcomer, I need to hear that basic stuff, how it was when I got here. And that's what you're talking about, Justin.
Mhm.
I need someone to share that because I checked the meeting schedule. It said that this meeting is going to be 6 o'clock at 2300 Dunbarton Road. And the meeting for the newcomer. So if I get here and this guy named Walter, who's sharing about being 25 years clean and his car insurance only $19 a month, and he paying 2.4% on his car title. I don't want to hear that story.
Wait, I do 2.4%.
$19 a month.
Yeah.
How?
But
Wait.
hold on. Let's go back on a Mercedes Benz. How you driving Mercedes Benz? Because a newcomer, I need to hear that story that got you here. Now, there are different meetings. I need to hear those stories that keep you here. And I need to hear stories that help you to grow up because staying clean must come first while you're here. So it's important, that somebody even tell me how to pick a meeting to go to so I can hear the information that's going to save my life. So I thank you for sharing that, Justice, because I could go to a newcomer meeting and I could see someone sharing with 15 years clean, and I get with him after the meeting. I say, you're not here. Stop being so selfish. You hear from the newcomer how you forgot how it was when you got here? Because you guys told me those who forget were doing the repeat. So you're right, Justice. That is so important, that we continue to stick to the basic. And again, let's watch the topics or watch the meeting that we are going into. High noon meeting, here at the Machine Foundation. I'm grateful there's a high noon meeting. When I open up the doors, you know what I see? I see a lot of new participants. So if I were to walk inside there, I got to talk about how it was when I got here. They don't want to hear about my grandkids and them taking care of their kids. You're talking about the guilt, the shame, the embarrassment set in. So that's not a great place to have those discussions and those meetings. And me being here for 25 years, I should act like I've been here for 25 years and respect the newcomer.
Yeah. The newcomer is the most important person in the room.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We we talk a lot about 12-step fellowships here. I do a 12-step fellowship as well, and I also supplement that with a Buddhist recovery pathway, which doesn't require you to be a Buddhist. It's a lot of meditation, which I
I love it.
Yeah, somebody like me whose uppers was my thing. I'm always trying to get my mind faster, faster, faster. It's good for me. It's
Yeah.
really good for me.
Yeah.
I'd probably
Yeah.
break a lot of windows if I didn't do it. But what I mean by that, though, is that we have access. I know you're grounded in your 12-step recovery, and a lot of us staff are grounded in 12-step recovery, and I think some of the staff are openly talking about new other pathways and
Mhm.
they're participating in. So, do you have any thoughts on other pathways, multiple pathways?
Yeah. Again, I love MAT, medicated assistant treatment. For whoever have to use methadone or who have to use Suboxone, and as they be tapered off, if that's their pathway and they're taking it as prescribed, and with medicated assistant treatment, also incorporate your therapist visit, your psychiatrist visits, and some of them do incorporate group discussions. So that's a pathway of recovery. I love it. If that what works, that's not the pathway that I have encountered coming here. Being part of a 12-step program, that's not the pathway. I tried treatment. That's another pathway. And treatment didn't work for me. I relapsed the same night I came out of treatment, I got high. So treatment didn't work for me. That's another pathway. I love the biblical perspective. I love church. I tried church. Church did not work for me. That's a pathway. And it's amazing that after I tried a 12-step program called Narcotics Anonymous, after I tried that, I found myself going back to church, and having a master's degree in divinity. So there are many pathways to recover. One thing you said about Buddhism, you're talking about a form of meditation. Sometimes it's like we need to help people to identify how does meditation looks to you. Because if I were to get caught up in Buddhism in the form of meditation, I feel less than you. But no, my meditation to me, this is how meditation looks to me, right? When I get off work, I go home, right? I do not go upstairs in my office. I'm blessed to have an office after being homeless. I do not go upstairs in my office. If I go upstairs in my office, I'm going to do some work. And that is not meditation. My meditation to me, I go downstairs in my man cave. Whoop, whoop. And I do nothing. That's meditation for me. It is so serene. It is so peaceful. I sit in my man cave for 15 minutes before I even turn my TV on. Woo! You talking about meditation, man.
Surrounded by all those Dallas Cowboys.
Risk, I'm a risk.
I know. I'm messing with you.
I'm wearing my jersey on just for that. Yeah. But I'm telling you, man, how does meditation look for you? We talking about that moment, that still moment, right? Because the mind, here it goes. You ready? The mind is created to think. But in meditations, when everything becomes still and you get into that conscious contact with the God of you understanding, wherever he's speaking to you, where you can lay all your burdens down and you can sit there and you just can relax and be in a still place where your mind can finally be free. We're talking about after pouring into people all day, right? After going to work, finally becoming that productive member of society. But we still need that meditating moment. Some people identify as in self-care. How does that look? Taking care of yourself. If I find myself at the spa, if I find myself getting my feet rubbed, whatever it is that, if I find myself going to the gym, how does that self-care look that draws me into that moment that I can meditate? Because some people go to the spa and sit inside a room and meditate and all that steam. I'm trying to figure out how you do that, but that works for them. That works for them. So you're right, that meditating moment, how does that look for you? Hey, Justice, I see you just tune yourself into the podcast. How does that meditating moment look for you?
That meditating moment looks like me walking in the front door of the gym. I do that every day, anywhere between like 8 and 9 o'clock. I'll get up, I'll make sure the house is in good shape, I'll check on everybody, and then eat my breakfast and go to the gym. And when I walk through the front doors, I actually leave I have 2 separate phones. One of them has service and has all my email and like all my texting and all that. that one stays in the car. The phone that comes in with me doesn't have any application except for the stock ones that it comes with and Spotify. And I hook that up to the Wi-Fi at the gym, and I turn my music on, and nothing else happens except for me, my music, and weights. And that's it. And it's not necessarily a peaceful meditation because I kind of get into it a lot. But the only thing that's happening there is I'm concentrating on myself. I'm concentrating on pushing weights, and I'm concentrating on music. And that to me creates a very serene sense of being to where I'm personally at peace, like I'm personally satisfied. I'm focusing on no one else except for myself. And that is, it's, if I don't do that every single day, I don't feel right throughout the day. I feel almost chaotic throughout the day. It like, it's like my day hasn't quite started yet. And then, once I leave, I pick up my phone, I start answering all the emails and, answering the back to normal. Exactly. But for that hour and a half that I'm at the gym, that's my time. I don't go to the gym with anybody else. I used to, but I've stopped doing that because I couldn't get a good workout. I couldn't get that peacefulness. I couldn't really get into it, So when I go, it's me alone by myself. That's my time. And that's when I focus on myself. And I love it,
I want to bring this back around, right? Because the question, it came out, and Justin, you did exactly what I wanted our viewing audience to hear, right? Because it came back when we talk on Buddhism, we talk on meditation. Now, if I would have followed a Buddhism way of meditation, then I would have missed the mark. Based on what I do in my man cave, 15 minutes of silence before I turn on my TV. If I would have followed a Buddhism way of meditation, Justin would have missed the mark, right? So therefore, we're not talking about man-made religious. That's why I love spirituality. Because we don't have to follow Buddhism. We don't have to follow Christianity. We don't follow anyway,
Hinduism.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Hades. I was like, hold on now.
Hinduism or Pentecostal or apostolic or all these man-made religions. We don't have to follow that. Our relationship that we have with the God of our understanding, he showed us a form of meditation that we get in tune with ourselves because he created us in our authentic space. So I love what Justice says. I love my form of meditation, but this is what I want to hear. I want to hear, what is your form of meditation and how does that look to the people?
Well, I don't have a man cave. How do you say that again?
A man cave.
Yeah. Okay, hold on, Nathan. I've seen your room. And that is about as close to a man cave as you can get without actually saying man cave on the wall.
Oh wow.
I've seen it. It's bed, refrigerator, television.
Man cave.
That's
I have a television bigger than this one on the wall in a
your whole wall is a TV.
My whole wall is a TV, yeah.
Wow.
And I got lights behind it that coordinate with the TV screen so you get fancy
man cave.
Yeah. Exactly.
I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, I guess that's what it is. It's I'm becoming more in tune with not getting stuck on the bad thoughts in my brain, but the thoughts that pop, because I have a very active imagination, and I love that, and a very vibrant brain, and I've done a lot of in my life. I've been very fortunate to have had a lot of incredible experiences, great experiences, and so I have these moments that come up in my day. Somebody might remind me of something, or someone will pop in, and when I get that moment, I like the visualization techniques in meditation. And so, I have some very specific images that come up. You asked me for my happy space. I have, it's in my brain now. The first thing that comes up is I'm on the bow of the ship, my ship, a little sailboat Justin and I were talking about sailing, my grandfather's boat. And I'm in the Currituck Sound, and sailing, and the warm wind, so, and I can sit down and I can put that visualization in my brain, and what I do is try to remain in that space, in my head. And as inevitably they do, the other thoughts come in, or, oh, I have to go to the store, or, oh, I forgot to do this for honesty, and I forgot, oh, gee, that's a thought. There it goes. I'm back on the boat. My grandfather's there, and that's one way, because
Mhm, that's
because
good.
there are a lot of different things come up. This morning, I went on YouTube for whatever reason. This morning I did, and something popped up. Beethoven for me is a huge connection to God for me,
Mhm.
and a new analyzation of one of his quartets, string quartets. He's got 16 string quartets, and there's this one that has this really intense fugue. And the reason I love Beethoven is that when he was composing these end of life pieces, like the Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, he was completely deaf at that point.
Mm.
He never heard any of that music,
Mm.
and yet it's some of the most profound music, and arguably some of the most listened to music around still. And so I love that connection, but it's also great music. But these later string quartets are really complex and really interesting to listen to, and and I can sit there with my eyes closed, and I'm visualizing the viola and the first violin and the second violin and the cello, and I'm hearing it, and I love, when I have good, like, these speakers on my these headphones on, or good speakers, being able to actually feel in the space where the music comes from. And I have a little bit of training in orchestra, and well, this is a 4-piece ensemble,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
with the bigger ensembles, and it brings me, it brings me to a place of the power of we.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mm.
I,
Power of the we.
power of we. I studied as a classical singer. I think some people know this about me, and I had an issue with my teeth a few years ago, and as a result, like, I got away from doing something I really really loved, and I still haven't gotten back to that, and maybe I will, maybe I won't. But one of the things that I used to love so much was singing in these big symphonic works. Like, the solo stuff, I'm not so interested in. I mean, I've done musical theater, I've done opera,
Mm.
I've been a soloist here or there, whatever. But I love these big symphonic works where you have 100 people or 200 people on the stage putting together something incredible.
Mhm.
And my experiences have always been, the complex, and the this, and here's the soprano ones, and the this, and the. I did a concert with 20 timpanis on stage once.
Mm.
Insane stuff,
Mm.
right? And I, I can sit with clearly I'm doing it now. I can sit with a piece of music, and I do it in my car all the time. I'll sit with a piece of music, and I'll even when I go home sometimes, like, I won't even get out of the car until I finish listening to what I'm listening to.
Mhm.
And it doesn't
Mhm.
have to be. I go right to the orchestra stuff because I was listening to Beethoven this morning. But I'll sit and listen to Queen, or Bare Naked Ladies, or I love Green Day. It's like I've got all
Mm.
kinds of different things I love. Or the Hamilton soundtrack now, because we're getting ready to go see them, or go see that. So for me, it's just connecting with something greater than myself.
Mhm.
And for me, that takes often it's music that connects with me, but sometimes it's
Mhm.
art. I love going to the museums and looking at art. I love having incredible conversations. I don't know that they're necessarily meditative, but
Mhm. Mhm.
one-on-one conversations with some people can be, walk away. When I
Mhm.
walk away a
Mhm.
better person, or feel like a
Mhm.
better person, like, I'm
Mhm.
like, that's what I'm seeking.
Mhm.
That's connection.
Mhm.
Um, it's you're right, though. It's what was it that you said about the steel
That still moment in your mind, because the mind is created. God gave us the creativity to always think. We always thinking. And when we look at the 12 step and the 12-step perspective, it's around the 11th step. It talk about where did that still moment where everything is at peace and you in tune to whatever that is in your vessel. You're in tune.
excuse me.
That's that meditative moment.
Yeah.
And if you get it in music, to whereas in the music is speaking to you, it's soothing your soul. If you get it at the gym,
Mm.
the cleaning of the gym, I'm at that place that I'm at my best and I'm actually participating in it. And I felt that connection. If I get in the man cave before I turn on the TV, I'm just sitting still and I get that fountain of detox.
Yeah.
Because of all the people I was able to pour into throughout the day. Because I lost Walter throughout the day. I become of service. And I found I get to sit with myself and just let go for that one moment. Because soon I get that moment, Walter, you home? Look at my wife, Lord have mercy. But I love her. But I was grateful for that moment. Yeah, I talk to the newer members here at the Michelle Foundation all the time. I help them to identify the difference between being bored and being at peace. Because a lot of times they can't identify the difference. Being bored, right? Because again, I could be in the man cave. I could be sitting in the man cave. My wife could look at me and she could say, "Are you bored? You in the house?" I'm like, "No, I'm at peace." It looked the same. I'm in the same chair in the man cave. She want to know, am I bored? I said, no, I'm at peace because I'm content with myself. When I'm at bored, I'm in myself looking for something to do. But when I'm at peace, I'm in myself. I'm content with what's going on. I'm not kind of trying to control anything. I have a lot of tolerance, a lot of patience. So I'm at peace. But when I'm bored, I'm trying to fix, manage, and control. And I try to tell the newer members here at the Michelle Foundation, you're not bored. You just so used to being involved and trying to manage things and trying to control. Guess what, man? You found it at peace. And it's okay. Learn how to embrace peace. We come out with a lifestyle of using drugs and alcohol and methadone and whatever our drug of choice was. We're not used to sitting with ourselves. And if you sit with yourself, that meditative moment would come in. And you'll realize that everything you need is already within you. You just need someone to guide you so you can learn how to operate the gift that's already in you. And here at the Michelle Foundation, in a 12-step program, we call that person a sponsor. Not necessarily a pastor or you got to go to the confession booth and talk to, a priest. No, you can find a pure recovery coach. Someone who believes in you, who want to guide you, on a new way of life. So that's one of the things I like about being here at the Michelle, helping the newer people to identify with that meditative moment. You don't have to be religious to get in touch with it. Don't be so confused whether you're at peace or you're bored. It's that still moment that you can get in tune with yourself and ask for guidance how to build your recovery. Yeah, that was great, man. What you think about that? Just us.
Walter Randall, our guest today. We were talking earlier about coming on the show, and you said, "How are we going to fill up an hour?" And we're at an hour and 8 minutes almost here.
What the world?
Man cave. Don't.
He gonna put a picture of a man cave up there.
I don't know what he was going to do, but he
that's a good idea.
But listen, I want to say thank you again, Walter.
Yeah.
Walter, thank you for being here, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna see you here on Tuesday.
Yes.
We'll go a little bit more in depth with the Breaking the Bondage ministry.
Woo, woo.
I gotta say, man, Justin, what have we done this week, man? We had a show.
We've done a lot of really cool stuff
We've
this
done
week.
some- I
We've
mean,
done a lot of really. We had the UK on earlier.
Yeah, some dude from London, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that guy, man. Well, I was wondering what language he was gonna speak. What did he end up speaking? Was it British?
He had a posh English accent, so he sounded upper crust.
And I knew he was from London, and as soon as he said hi, I was like, "Oh, there it is. There's that."
Shut up, me, Sean.
Yeah.
But we had not only a really interesting conversation, I think, during the show, but we had a good connection, I think, before some of the conversation that we didn't say publicly. And so, it was an interesting connection. And then, of course, I didn't see the women's show yesterday, but I know that I was out in the public Tuesday.
That was a very entertaining show because that happened in the middle of another thing that we had going on here. So I had to really quickly set up and shout out to Dixie. I had to really quickly set up her computer and set the show up on her computer. And there was one button that I didn't push on her computer that allowed them to be able to hear themselves.
Oh, right.
And I hit this button and all three of them at the same time jumped back because their headphones came blaring on and I could not help myself. I sat back here laughing at them for a solid 10 minutes.
Wow. Wow.
And I know that the women's show is resonating because I was at an event the other day and someone said, "Oh yeah, you do that podcast thing, and I really love the Women Wednesdays." And I thought, well, that's what I want to hear because it fills my
Yeah,
little ego,
yes,
of course. But
Yes.
we're connecting. And then yesterday we had Moses on in the
family,
evening and for the
yes.
families. And I mean, I know there was some technical stuff, but man, I'll tell you what, that was fun for
It
me.
was.
That was a really good show. I
Yeah.
had a lot of fun doing that, and seeing those parents come on, man. That was
Yeah.
that really hit home because my parents did the same thing when I first got here the last time, and I could really feel what they were saying because as parents they didn't know what to do. They had no idea.
Yeah.
They couldn't relate to it. And that was exactly how my parents were. And I wanted to look at them the whole time and be like, y'all are doing great. Like,
Yeah,
y'all
I
are
know,
doing
right?
so good. You know?
Don't give them $2.
Yeah. Don't let them.
Give it to me.
Yeah,
I'll hold on
yeah.
to it.
I'll hold on to
Man cave. All right. Well, that's way more time than we have for the day.
Yes.
But I'll tell you what, it's been a really awesome show today. Thank you, Walter, for stepping in. Justin,
Yes.
as always.
Yes.
Everybody out there listening, tune in to us. We got Tuesday next week. We're going to have Walter back to talk more about the breaking the bondage. I don't know. On the 19th, which is Thursday next week. Thursday next week, we have the West Virginia Recovery Advocacy Project coming on the show. It'll be me and Joanna Vance talking about what's going on in West Virginia. There's some great things going on with the 10% set aside. We'll talk about that on Thursday. But I'll tell you, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us.
God bless you.
Here at McShin, we believe in the McShin way, which is authentic recovery support service providers, people with lived experience, bringing that experience to those who need that lived experience in recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in many things to support our mission. We believe in women empowerment.
What I love most about what we believe here at McShin is we believe in the authenticity of the peer-to-peer approach.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in giving people opportunity.
Here at McShin, we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person.
At the McShin Foundation, we believe in helping people reach their full potential.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in multiple pathways to recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in placing principles before personalities to help spread hope.
Here at McShin, we believe that recovery is possible and that any person seeking recovery can become a more acceptable, responsible, and productive member of society.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in self-discovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in saving lives and offering second chances.
Here at McShin, we believe you can do this.
Here at McShin Foundation, we believe that we can only keep what we have by giving away, which is why we continue to help others like us seek and find recovery.